Welcome to Paddle and Fin, an effective podcast of all things kayak fishing. Where our hosts are a bunch of long-time fishermen who decided to get in the kayak fishing world, and guess what? They're taking you along for the ride. So buckle in, and welcome to Paddle and Fin.
Hello, and welcome back to the Paddle and Fin podcast. I'm Brian.
This is Ricketts.
Ricketts Racket in the house. I don't know why I like saying that. It just sounds good. Ricketts Racket.
I do kind of like that. maybe that'll be a show segment coming on Sundays in 2020, huh?
I like it. I like it.
Me too. I can dig it.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Well, you guys, tonight we have none other than Cody Jennings from Jigmasters Jigs talking with us tonight. He's got some new products dropping. He's got some new stuff coming out beginning of 2020. So we wanted to get on with the man himself and get the inside scoop. So Cody, welcome back, my friend.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Absolutely,
Problem,
dude.
man.
Absolutely.
Somebody's been busy. Somebody's been in the workshop,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
I would say so, you know, from our...
The
Somebody
mad
said
scientist.
Looks like I haven't slept for a month. Somebody said recently, and I was like, "Gee, thanks." You know.
Yeah. I know how that goes, man. I know
Yeah,
how that
dude.
goes.
Sure.
Well, you're hard at work, but I think the one of the most impressive things right off the bat we were talking about earlier is your beard, bro.
Yeah.
From one beard lover to another, dude. Your beard is awesome. It
Yeah, I
is
tell you,
seriously awesome.
The Black Friday through Cyber Monday sales didn't let me do any manscaping by any means. So, so here it is.
Dude, the beard is epic, man. You got like that big Jameson Redding beard going on.
Yeah.
You know, it's awesome, dude. Yeah.
Heck
Yeah, I
yeah.
figured as soon as I trip on it, it's too long. So
Yeah, no doubt. You just gonna go buck wild with it, like what, 2 feet long?
yeah, I think
Oh.
so.
Oh,
I want to
that's
try to get
amazing.
way through 2020 without trimming it.
Dang, that's awesome.
That'll be long. Very cool, man. Well, let's I mean, obviously, yeah, like Rickett said, you know, you've been busy in the workshop. You got a new series that just dropped Friday, right? Well, today, the day we're recording this.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep. Just dropped about our recording. So.
okay, cool, man. Yeah, I mean, we're recording on Friday, but this will air Monday, so you guys, after you get done listening, go check it out at jigmasters.com. Don't forget to use promo code PNF20, and that'll save you 20% off. But you got, let's start off with this Woodward series. You know, you've been working with them. They're from up in Minnesota, right?
It's Upper Wisconsin.
Upper Wisconsin. All right. Same area.
Yep, and similar fishing tactics for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So, let's talk about the first one here, man. The Marabou Jake. You got 2 different styles. What was the theory behind that? How's that all looking?
Yeah, so basically it's a stand-up hair jig. We're using 100% Marabou, for the hair, and really the big goal is to get a premium hair jig, obviously at a competitive cost, but also have it have a slow sink rate with it.
Yeah.
So we actually have 2 sink rate options. So if somebody wants a little bit faster one, there's just the standard. That kind of comes with four full strands of Marabou. Most on the market is 2 to 3.
Yeah.
And then also we have a slow sink one, which is just a hairy mess, is what I call it. But it's 4 full strands of Marabou, or not 4, 8. And basically what it does is it slows that bait down about 30%.
Wow.
And then the stand-up head itself also slows it down a little bit. So basically you can actually still have a castable, a heavy castable hair jig, but it still gives you that slow sink rate that a lot of those guys up there desire, especially for bed fishing for smallmouth.
Very cool. So, like the stand-up head, is that similar to your casting jigs head?
No, this is actually a straight 90.
Okay.
Wow.
So when it falls, it gets vertical every time.
Nice.
we did some playing with it when we were up there.
Very cool. Very cool. I dig that, man. Bunch of color options on that as well.
Yeah, we started out with 3 that are big for the area. We're going to be launching a couple other ones here pretty soon. But right now there's a solid black, which everybody always has to have for that. Then there's a white with red accent and a white with purple accent.
Okay.
And then we're still working on trying to get a couple more natural colors.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Yeah, I've always liked it's not a red, it's like a dark burnt reddish orange. I got a few of those, man. That's a good one, crayfish color.
I've never thrown a hair jig. I'm sorry, I've never done it. No Marabou jig, nothing. I've never touched it.
Yeah, so that actually kind of leads on how I started working with them. I went up there and, it was perfect timing. The bed or the fish all started moving onto beds the first day we were on the water as soon as the sun got high. So we actually were on the water prior to them getting to the beds, which is pretty cool. And it's all the way up where we were, like Vilas County, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Is, pretty as far as you can get up in Wisconsin before you're in the Michigan or the UP.
Yep.
But anyway, so we're fishing and stuff, and I got all my normal stuff, half-ounce football jigs and big spinnerbaits and all that stuff.
Sure.
Which some of the times, at least on the Great Lakes and stuff, a lot of times you have decent success with. And we get up there, and they're just whaling me. Josh and Caitlin both. I've got one fish in the boat. By the time they've each got 10, and everything was there. They were throwing hair jigs. Little swim baits, all these. Basically what it led me to realize is I have nothing to promote them. I don't have anything for that market, that Minnesota, upper Wisconsin,
sure,
or most of Wisconsin, all that super cold water fishing, especially for smallmouth. I just didn't have anything to offer. And that's kind of what led to the series.
Nice. Very cool, man. Very cool. I dig it. And then next up on that list too, you guys came out with a Ned head, right? Or Ned head's released.
Yep, yeah. So there's a Ned head, and then also a ball head that kind of has a similar design tweak. Basically, it still looks like your standard head, but we have a screw lock trailer keeper. And now I know there's others on the market that use a screw lock trailer keeper, but basically the issue with most of them out there is they have it to where the threads are about 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch away from the head, to where there's just a straight arm lead in. And what that does is either A, you can't get that nice profile that people typically like. They typically like putting their swim bait all the way up to the head or whatever plastic they're using. So for you to do that with what's on the market, you basically have to thread it on and then push.
Yeah.
Well, when you push, you're basically just plugging out part of your bait, and it's actually going to be counterproductive. So what we do is we actually have them molded to where the threads actually go all the way up to the head.
Heck yeah. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. I love that, man, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I forget what it was I was throwing this past fall, and I had that same issue. I was it must have been a Swimbait head or something, and twisted on a Kayak, and we all know how soft those Kayak plastics are, and was trying to get it tight to the head, and I did that same thing. I pushed it forward and basically, just ripped that inside of the plastic up, and then, one fish, and that was toast. I mean, Kayaks, you usually get
not
2
cheap.
to 3, and they're not cheap, right?
Yeah, right.
So to help that out, I mean, that's huge, dude. That is huge.
You also have more area to keep the bait on there too, if you think about it, because your typical ones, it's like a 1, 2, 3 rotation, and then you're out of thread.
Yeah.
So imagine if you're taking yours all the way up to the head, it's probably a 6 rotation plug.
It's a little less than that, but you do get the benefit of where you're not having to do that final push.
Yeah.
So you get the clean profile, and whether the fish care or not, it gives you more confidence. But also it's actually being a trailer keeper versus a trailer destroyer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
I love the
Good
way.
deal.
That's a good way to put it for sure. And all your jigs are the same way too, right? They screw all the way down to the head, no straight. You know, and that's one thing I noticed right away, like when I first started tossing the jigs is, you know, being able to screw that all the way down to that head and not have that issue where it's sticking up a little bit or whatever. But like Ricketts said, you know, you got a couple more rotations in there because of that, and that plastic stays glued to that head way better. I love it.
Me too. Well, I'm still a huge fan of your jigs. That's for damn sure. I mean, I still have a pile of them. I love them. I got a place, and in my custom colors that I have, so really like those too. Yep.
Ricketts still hasn't caught a fish, but he loves throwing them.
Hey, I just like the way they look in the water.
Hey, man. It caught him at least.
Yeah, exactly. It did catch me. That's for daggone sure.
I kid.
Oh, man.
And then you guys also have a custom swim bait head coming out too as well, right? Or it already released. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying not to like say that some things are released because we talked about a lot of stuff. Like we said, Cody's been busy in the shop, so I don't want to mislead anybody. So I'm being cautious as I'm naming these off here.
Yep. Yeah. So this is already released. It's once again through the Woodward series, and we call it the Swimbait Sled. And it's just kind of due to the shape of the head, how it looks. We kind of thought that was a good name for it. And really, once again, you know, screw actuator keeper, it goes all the way up to the head. But what's cool about it is it's an extremely keel weighted head, so it won't roll over on you, you know, no matter how fast you retrieve it. And then also, when it's just laying on a slack line on the bottom, the way the head shaped, it'll actually kind of rock back and forth, almost think of like a rocking chair kind of action.
Okay.
It'll just do that on the bottom on a slack line. So you actually get a decent amount of strikes if it's just sitting there.
Nice.
Then also it won't roll to the side either.
So what hook did you use with that?
It's technically a very sharp medium wire hook.
Medium wire. Okay.
Yeah, it's once again through Mustad. You know, and everything I've tested kind of shows that that's my bread and butter for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's a chemically sharpened. Actually, it's a super sharp. They call it a needle point medium wire hook.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. I've been on the hunt for those type of swim bait hooks and stuff like that, man. I've been on the hunt like crazy because I haven't really found one that I like a lot, you know, one that I really trust. So yeah, I'm really interested in doing that because on my river, I primarily throw swim baits,
right?
And specifically Kitex because the action. But yeah, I mean, I'm really, really interested in getting my hands on those.
Yeah, like I said, you know, Kitex get pretty expensive, but at the same time, they catch fish.
Yeah,
they catch fish.
Can't argue that.
It's that dog tail wag, you know what I mean? I mean, those tails on the thing just flip and the fish go crazy over them. They really like that. So
and they always seem that like the faster you retrieve them, the worse you're going to do.
Yeah.
It seems a nice moderate, you know, retrieve is what gets those strikes.
Yeah, absolutely. Good deal.
That's
What's
awesome.
What's he got in the bag? What's next, Brian? This man has been busy, dude.
That's it for the Woodward series, correct?
That is it for what is released now.
Okay.
We can actually talk about the other couple baits that's going to be in their series that's coming out.
Well, one thing I wanted to mention that we talked about before we kicked off here is Codys having a big apparel sale, you guys. So go to the website. I know you got beanies, hoodies, T-shirts, hats. The hats are bomb. Everybody knows I love hats, so I got that Flex Fit one with the Jigmasters logo that kind of wraps around.
Yep.
And but Cody's got all that stuff on sale, but he also said the P&F code will also be able to use on that, so you're going to save a buttload of money. So if you guys want to go pick up some Jigmasters swag, go hit that up. You know, you need a late Christmas gift or something, or you want a Christmas gift from our man Cody at Jigmasters, tell your wife, here's the website, here's the promo code, go get it now.
Yeah, to put it in kind of ideas so people kind of understand how big the sale is, especially if they use that code, they're going to be getting hats for under $5.
Your sweatshirts right now,
oh
the
man, now you're
Jigmasters.
telling me that.
Right. I'm looking at the hooded fleece right now.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, so hoodies, you know, I got them on sale for $12.99. So you're going to knock another $2.60 off that with a code, so it's just over $10. So pretty tough to beat.
Angie.
Yep.
Oh, she took my daughter somewhere. I'm gonna have a conversation with her after we get done here, boys.
Okay. I appreciate it.
No, that's cool, man. I dig it. That was one thing I wanted to bring up before we switched into what's coming in 2020. So that way you guys can get out there and get that stuff ordered up. So that way you got it by Christmas for sure. So 2020, you got I don't even know where to begin with all this stuff. The first quarter, so you're looking like end of March probably you'll have all this stuff released, and you're going to be slowly releasing this stuff. Guys, gals, watch the Paddle and Fin page. I'm sure Cody's going to give us a heads up, so we'll mention it on one of the episodes throughout the week to let you know that some of this stuff's coming out. I know I've personally seen some of this stuff. Cody just showed us a few things, and I think you guys are going to be excited. And you said what you were at what 6 or 7 baits, and now you're going up to what 30 or roughly 30?
Yeah, so basically there's 9 baits I currently carry.
Okay.
And then from what I just released, and then the baits that are planning to launch here in the first quarter of 2020, I'm going up to 30.
Nice.
So there's going to be a lot larger variety as well. So.
Heck yeah.
I'm excited about that, man. I'm definitely excited about that. Because if you put the time and energy and quality as you did in your jigs, that's going to shine. All those things.
Yeah. There's no cookie cutters. Everything's kind of we've prototyped them. A decent amount of time. Ran them through bait tanks. Did all the testing that I possibly can to make sure that I'm happy with it. And typically, if I'm happy with it, everybody else is going to be too.
Right. We dig it. I love that part.
For sure. So in the Signature Series, this one, Cody sent me this a few weeks ago, and I think I replied back, and I was like, that's sexy. And that's the punch rig. So let's talk about the punch rig a little bit, man, because I think that's interesting. I mean, I've been ordering skirts, I've been ordering weights. Now you kind of have the two combined into one, which I think is killer.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So this is actually another part of the Signature Series that was also on the new releases that's released now.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah. So there's a couple of those that we'll hit there, but the punch rig would be the first one to talk about there. So basically it's it's your bullet style head that basically has a through hole in it for you to run your line through. You'd tie to whatever flipping hook you want. They exist on the market. Basically the Jigmasters spin on it is we have it to where between the skirt keeper design and then once again the wire tie that I do to all the skirted lures, you cannot get that skirt to fall off, and that's a big issue that everybody came to me with on the market. They say, hey, look, most of the time even the grass catches up on it, it just knocks that skirt right off.
Right.
So this is the fix for that.
That's gonna be sick.
I'll definitely be ordering some of them too. I like to use a punching rig with heavy lily cover.
Yeah.
And I stumbled across that accidentally at the Cowan Lake tournament.
Yeah.
Because I had forgot my topwater at the in my car, and I forgot my topwater lures. So I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do? And I'm like, I had this it wasn't a bandito bug, it was something else from one of the Guggen baits. I'm like, I've never used it, but it's got a lot of twirls on it, so I'll throw it on there. And I had it on a puncher rig and plopped it up on that lily pad, and the lily pads Cowan Lake are 15, 16 inches wide, big monsters, and I was popping it, and that thing fell down, and the 17-inch largemouth smacked it. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to start using these punching rigs.
Yeah, trench hog, right?
Yeah, those
trench hog, that's what it is.
Yep. Yeah, those skirted punch rigs. It's the big benefit is you can fish them in super heavy pads, grass cover, stuff like that. Still get the jig profile, though, with it.
Nice.
Yeah. I was loving that. Yeah, for sure. Good. I'm excited. Let's hide that credit card bill.
It seems like that's a reoccurring theme with you every time we talk to Cody.
Every time we get Cody on here, I know.
Ricketts is like,
every time my wife asks me what the hell's going on with the credit card, she knows I've been talking to Cody.
But yeah, as far as other baits that are released under the Signature Series, it's out right now is like we were talking earlier. It's an HD ball head.
Yep.
So once again, it looks small. It's a 1-knot hook. It's really good for fishing. Your 3.8 Kitex and down.
Yeah.
Screw lock that goes up to lead. But what it is, it's actually an extremely heavy wire hook. So for people like me, where I always prefer at least having a medium heavy rod, I can fish those finesse options on it, still set the hook, and not worry about bending hooks or any of that stuff.
Very cool.
It's a very, very stout hook. Like, so even if you try to take your fingers and try to pinch it to bend it, it won't even budge.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I just recently got something like that, man. I was watching, this was right before that turkey bowl we did, and I got some ball-headed jig heads because I was watching a tactical bassin video, and they were talking about finessing, Kayak swim baits, like the little 2.8s. And it was like a guppy head. So I wish I would have known. I would have hit you up because you sent me a package for that anyway. So I could have had you throw those in there, man.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever you needed for the event there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's what I call it. It's heavy duty finesse fishing.
Yeah.
So it's an oxymoron, but I'm starting to find that I like a lot of those options.
Yeah. No, like you were telling me, that you could still use a heavier rod and get away with that, compared to having to lighten up, so to speak, right?
Right. And especially in the kayak side, is it's one less rod you got to worry about. If you do predominantly fish heavier stuff, but you can still do some finesse options.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. And then you got a tapered tube head jig coming. Well, not jig, but the actual hook. Right?
Yep, it's tapered tube head. Yep, that's out now. And once again, the main play there is putting a hook in it, but also having the correct hook size for the perfect presentation. And when you're doing tubes, what you really want to see is that the bottom bend of that hook is just coming out of the plastic, and then obviously the hook point shoots back up. So you don't have too much. You have the hook open, but there's not too much sticking out to where you're going to snag a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of testing with it actually up in something like Lake Erie marinas and stuff like that. And when you have the perfect hook size dialed in, you can basically fish those 10-to-1, 15-to-1 as far as how often they snag and stuff. It's a pretty impressive difference.
That's cool.
So we have what's called a standard option in it, and basically that has a hook meant for a 3.5-inch tube. And then there's a finesse option in it that is perfect for a 2.5-inch tube.
Very cool. I dig that. I'm gonna have to get some of those too.
Yeah.
It seems like some of these things, you're really gearing up for. I'm just putting this together, and that's why I'm throwing this out here now. Is like you're really getting some really good smallmouth baits put together and out there, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
Like river.
Kind of yep.
Yeah, river smallmouth action, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's basically I'm just really trying to diversify the lineup.
Sure.
But still always doing stuff where I'm filling a need, in the market, whether it's dialing in the perfect hook or a complete new design or a better trailer keep, because some of the terminal tackle, you kind of run out of how many different things you can do.
Sure.
Compared to like a full lure. But there's been a lot of people asking for them, and you ask and you shall receive, I guess, So.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah, dude. That's awesome. This next one, I don't even know where to begin because it's pretty amazing. I mean, underspins have been something that's becoming more and more and more popular. And now you've made it even cooler because you can change out the blades. It's got a quick change on the blades, so you can go from like a willow leaf. I like the first thing I thought of when you talked about it, I'm like, I'm gonna try throwing a Colorado blade because you never see that. It's different, throwing a Colorado blade on an underspin.
Yep. Yeah. So, basically with it has, the old connector pin that was common for the old Hottentot crankbaits. And basically what it does is just has, it's a full wire form where it's got a little gap actually cut in it, but they use a sleeve that basically hides that gap. So all you got to do to change a blade on it, whether you want to change to a little bit different size blade or color, or whatever you want to do, you basically push the sleeve up all the way to the lead. You'll see the gap created. Pull off the old hook, put on the new one or the blade, and you're good to go. So that way, if you don't want to have to order 982,000 underspins to fulfill it, you can actually just buy a decent amount, but just keep a bunch of spare blades and, change your presentation that way.
Do you have that little clip still for the guys and gals that are watching on YouTube?
That thing I do. Real quick? Yeah. Yep. So I'll show it open. See if you can see in there.
Yeah.
So you show it open, and then basically that sleeve you push down like so, and it closes it off.
Okay. Very cool. That's awesome, man. I dig that.
And then, and once again, screw lock trailer keeper there. And then the big fear for me was, okay, well, I'm not getting too much of that pin up in the lead, especially with the smaller ones. My kind of fear was, would that eventually work its way free? And basically to solve that issue, what happens is on the top end loop, I put in a split ring, a small split ring, and wrap it around the hook or wrap it over the hook. So it physically can never come off.
That's awesome.
I'm looking at it right now on your website. It's pretty slick looking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's really cool.
And that's all the new stuff that is released as of now.
Okay. Well, can we touch on the stuff coming now?
Hopefully it doesn't change too much.
Man, I've never thrown a Marabou jig, but I might. That's pretty impressive looking. Will that come through?
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Marabou has a real cool action on it in the water. So when it sinks, it doesn't do too much. But when it's just sitting there, it has it'll do a lot of different waves and stuff like that, and kind of go all over the place. And smallmouth just love it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So I'll be placing my order right after this episode. Here's the underspin. Can you see that, Brian? Let it focus there.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's
pretty dope,
through.
Huh?
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah. So if you guys are listening to this, if you jump on our YouTube channel, you'll be able to see some of these pictures I'm holding up of everything we're talking about. But yeah, it's pretty ingenious. So you get 1, 2, 3. It looks like about 4 wraps on your. You can wrap your bait 4 times up on that hook. It looks like 1, 2, 3,
screw
4.
keeper.
Yeah, screw keeper. Yep. Yeah. Sorry, I was having trouble explaining that, but yeah, good deal, man. Good deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, everything's for sale right now.
Get
out.
on
Fin 20, P&F 20.
All the quickly to come stuff as far as new product launches.
Yeah.
Well, the one I'm most excited about, and it was the first thing I asked you about, was the Finesse Jig. I want to hear about this. Sorry, guys.
So basically there's actually going to be 2 different Finesse jigs.
Okay.
And they're all going to be essentially subtle tweaks to my current football and flipping head.
Okay.
But it's going to have the Finesse profile skirt, where you have the short top and the longer bottom.
Okay.
There's just a few tweaks basically that has to be made in those heads to get you got to, with those, you kind of have to have the skirt perfectly centered with the lure.
Okay.
With the full skirt, you kind of get away with it a little bit. So I got to make a couple of tweaks, but it's going to be the same style heads, but just in the Finesse option.
Yeah.
What size hooks are you talking on those?
So at least to start, and a lot of times I'll do this if I'm not 100% confident what the market wants. Basically, I'll put out an option of, for that bait, it'll be kind of like the light wire hook.
Yeah.
So I'll put in an option of 3 all the way to 5 really kind of let the people tell me.
Okay.
Basically get a few months of data, and then, a lot of times you'll see a landslide towards one hook option.
Sure. Have you thought about going even smaller?
Not smaller than the 3/0.
Okay.
For that, and that's actually just due to basically how between the bait and the skirt keeper,
you start running out of room per se. When you go all the way down to a 2-aught, you have enough hook showing that you're going to have a lot of strike issues.
Okay. Yeah. Right on. Okay.
Which the 3-aught in that light wire hook is almost like a 2.5 in the standard wire.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Interesting. I like it. And you're also coming out with your version of a chatterbait, so to speak, as well, right?
Yeah. So and this is actually going to be part of the Dr. 6 series. It's with an angler out in the state of Oregon who I've been in close touch with throughout this whole year. Basically, he's been winning tournaments like crazy out there on the flipping jigs. And he said, dude, I need you to do this for me. Can you make it happen? And basically, it's turning the flipping head into a chatterbait.
Holy crap.
Mm.
So it's that same kind of shape. The hook will be the line tie will be rotated 90, and then basically go into a split ring into a chatter blade.
Okay.
And what that does is we did some testing with it. I'll be here in the shop and show you. We did some testing with it, and it'll do some crazy stuff. It'll track straight. It's obviously it's vibrating, but it'll track straight, and then it's not truly out of nowhere, but out of nowhere it'll jut about 3-4 inches to the left, pull straight for a while, then it'll jut 3 to 4 inches to the right. And what we were noticing is that pretty much every time after it would do that little jut side to side,
getting a hit,
boom, strike.
Yep.
Wow.
It has nothing. You're just real. It's not like you have to do tricks with the rod tip or any of that stuff. It's literally now overall your whole width from left to right is only about 8 inches.
Sure.
So it's not like, I throw it and the bait ends up 30 feet to the left. It's
right.
Basically go left and then work itself back right.
That's interesting, man, because I saw something, similar to what you're talking about back in spring, and again, shout out to Tactical Bassin. They were talking about how that little jet and then coming back straight again would spark a reaction bite. And one of the things they were talking about doing, and I do it all the time when I'm tossing a chatterbait, is I'll give it like one real hard like crank and a half, to kind of speed it up, and it kind of jets and then comes back straight. Now I don't have to do that. I always hate doing that. It's such a pain in my butt. Now I can just stick with a steady reel. I like it.
Yep. Steady retrieve, and the bait's going to do it for you.
Is that going to have the light wire hook on it?
Planning on doing both options.
I think after this is over, we should just give you, or you should give us your bank account number, and we'll have our paychecks just direct deposited.
Yeah, exactly.
I figured out and start offering financing. Got my own bank. So, yeah.
You guys sitting there laughing. I got my wallet right here in my hand.
Oh, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Then you got a spinnerbait coming out too, and you were talking about some of the uniqueness behind that, man. Why don't you dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, so I am a huge spinnerbait fanatic. Obviously that's pretty much what most people are raised on when they get into fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad, I don't think my dad's, bought a store-bought or, from a store, a spinnerbait in, since I've been born, at least. He's kind of made them forever. So obviously I got a lot of decent knowledge from that. And one of the biggest things is that people should realize quick is that you're able to actually, with my custom head design for the spinnerbait, you're actually able to throw big blades on a smaller head.
Yeah.
So you can come up to like a size 6 on a 3/8 head. And what that does is it allows you, the bait will still run, but you can actually fish it, incredibly slow.
Yeah.
Then if you want to fish it fast, you can just get the rod tip down and go for it. But you can actually fish these slow. They won't roll on you. And a lot of times I've found, and a lot of times like stained water, a little bit dirty water, something like that, everybody really focuses on color, but something I also find extremely important is blade size. You know, and I've especially this year, I've caught a lot of my big fish on spinnerbaits that have, you know, Marabou blades. No interruption here.
Is that Mrs. Jigmaster?
Special guest.
Yeah.
She's running. We're good.
Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, I mean, I just got back into throwing spinnerbaits, not this past fall, the fall before, man, and that's one thing, like, you know, I wanted bigger blades, but then, like you said, you kind of get that roll sometimes. So I like where you're going with that. That's super awesome, man.
Most of the market, you know, and I understand why they do it. You know, they basically give you, you know, your 3 ounce, half ounce heads and stuff, but they put small blades on them because they're going to run right. You know, that takes some of the engineering work out of it, you know, just because you have a heavy weight pulling it. But yeah, you know, so that's kind of one of my big goals is once again to fulfill a need in the market. And then as I was kind of showing you guys earlier, there's also doing, I know this is just a prototype version, so bear with. We're doing a custom line tie, you know, bend in the wire, if you guys can see there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But basically, it's almost like a combination between a true twisted, you know, twisted line tie and an R bend, and it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. You don't have to worry about it wrapping like around like a twisted eye.
Yeah.
But then you also have to worry about like you're not potentially sliding down onto the wire, you know, putting around the spinnerbait. So you don't have to worry really about wasted cast. And then also the rolled end to basically, if you want to change blades, once again, you can actually just use that end like a split ring. And, you know, so you don't have to deal with those super small split rings with that, you know, come with the swivels. You can actually just kind of have them pre-planned and change them like that.
That's awesome. Oh, man. I'm going broke more and more we talk. What else we got, man? My man. The for the Senkos. I forget what you call that. Yeah.
So this is actually going into a bait series with a new friend of mine down in Louisiana, Dennis Narcisse. And the guy cracks me up. Every time we're on the phone, he calls me. He won't call me anything but Mr. Jennings. You know, that's that super cool cat voice and that stuff. It gets me every time. But hell of a guy. He's got me in a couple shops down there. You know, so I kind of want to reward him and do a lure series with him. And he's very technical, kind of like I am. And one of their big things down here, they throw a lot of like Senkos with a tailspin.
Yeah.
And you know, so basically what there it is, it's the Poche power spinner. It's just a kind of a custom screw lock that then attaches to a swivel and blade. So you just screw into the bottom of the bait. The issue is most people's preferred stick baits, Senkos, whatever you want to call them. You know, most people's preferred ones are the super soft ones. So what happens is one fish hits, and it rips that blade just rips out. And obviously, blades aren't cheap. Especially when you're throwing gold-plated ones, stuff like that. They're actually pretty expensive, so it's definitely not very efficient. Both time-wise and financially wise.
Yeah.
Basically, what we're doing is, we have an actual like braided wire form that still has a lot of flexibility, but we're basically tying a split ring on the bottom. So half the split ring will be embedded at the bottom of the Senko. And then it'll come up and they'll just do a little loop out so people can they'll stick their worm hook through that loop. And then that means basically that the blade can never come free from the hook. So even if for some reason that was to pull out, you're not losing your blades.
That's awesome. That's going to save everybody a buttload of money. That's for sure, man. That is for sure.
Money and time. That's what everything's about.
Yeah, buddy. Very cool, man.
And then we're also doing like a stick bait, but just as a stick bait, no blades or any of that stuff too.
Okay, very cool. What else we got, man?
Well, we'll stick kind of with that series. The series I'll be doing with him. We have the swim jig with the underspin. combo. And it's going to be, it's my swinging swim jig that I have now, but we kind of modified our molds and stuff to actually take in a wire form that lets us put a blade out the bottom. And once again, those are starting to come up on the market a little bit.
Sure.
Once again, we have it kind of dialed into with the angle of the wire that's coming out of the bottom of the head. And then also being a swinging swim jig, it makes it actually about as weedless as you can get it.
Okay.
So yeah, that was kind of one of the biggest things there is when you do underspins, if you have it come straight out the bait, you lose a little bit. It's great for open water, it'll do fine. But a lot of the southern states, they really like to fish these around grass and stuff like that. And that makes it that much more weedless by having it had it.
Well, yeah, and you could even throw like a creature bait on that thing too, right? Swing that through there. Yeah.
Yep, and it's soft plastic you want, but you should be able to get striped.
I love that. Are you going to blow my mind even more?
Yeah, we can keep going if you want.
yeah, have at it, man. Yeah, I went through everything I had written down, so this is, name off whatever you want to name off, my man.
Yeah, so basically to finish out the series with him, we're going to be doing a soft plastic creature / crawl. It's kind of going to have more of your creature bait body, but have more of a custom crawl claws.
Okay.
And once again, there's a couple options that are in the market currently. We're just doing our best here to kind of fine tune some stuff and really get a lot of strikes out of the bait. And that's pretty much the rest of their series. And then with the Woodwards, to get that stuff out of the way too, we are doing our own 3.5-inch swim bait. And the goal there is to get very similar action to the Kayak, like we were discussing earlier, that big, how you say it was the dog.
Yeah, the tail wag.
Yeah. It's the goal is to get that, but also have it be a more durable bait.
Sure.
Because obviously, that's
not a 2-pump dump, huh?
Yep. So let's go there. And the profile is going to be a little different, but the tail end is going to be very similar.
Okay.
How that's kind of created. And then also it's going to be one of my biggest options for bed fishing. And we took a lot of design work in for the smallmouth bed fishing, like I said, especially up there. And basically as this bait sinks, it just slowly will waddle side to side.
Okay.
We put a couple angled flats on the bottom to let it kind of rock back and forth. And for some reason, we were actually playing up there and just tuning them, basically taking, box cutters and trimming off part of the baits and stuff, and to see what those smallmouth are reacting to more. That's kind of what let us come up with this. So it works great as just normal swim bait. You can fish it throughout the whole year, slow retrieve, fast retrieve, whatever. But it's also one heck of a bed fishing bait as well.
Nice.
Yeah. And one of the big ones that I'm super excited for is the skirted pivot head. So it's going to be, essentially our football jig, but it'll have a, swinging hook, kind of like our pivot heads are.
Yeah.
But a skirt, So where I see that very beneficial is when you're fishing football jigs out deep, but especially like around trees and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of get that improved, where they don't snag as often, or if they do snag, they're typically easier to break free.
Yeah.
Just to get the full jig profile with it. And then also when you're dragging on the bottom, a lot of times you'll fish those fairly fast. That skirt's going to be flaring everywhere too.
Yeah. You're speaking my language right now.
Yeah.
We're connecting as one. I like this.
Yeah, and then we'll be doing our own 4-inch crawl. That's really going to be designed main. I mean, you'll be able to throw it on Texas rig or the punch rig, whatever you want to do.
Sure.
But its main focus is to be that perfect combination for Texas rig bait or jig trailer.
Okay.
A lot of it is how the body's segmented. You can dial it in perfect on how you want to trim it up for a jig trailer.
Okay.
So it's a no-brainer. Say, I go these two marks down and pinch or cut with scissors or whatever you do. but how it's segmented, it doesn't ruin the integrity of the bait when you do trim it down. Or you can just fish it, right out of the package.
Nice.
And basically it's a custom claw end that I've been working on to get still more durable claws than a lot that's out there, but have very good action on them.
Very cool. So you're coming out with you're venturing into the plastics world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's, I've been having a lot of people, ask for it, and, originally I was kind of hesitant and stuff, and I really thought about it, and I was having issues with jig trailers myself.
Yeah. Right.
I said, the only way that it's, something I can perfect will come out is if I do it, so that's kind of where I led for.
Well, that's cool, man, because now you can pair up, and I know how much time you put into, the R&D side of things. It's Cody just doesn't throw something together and he's like, all right, here you go, this is for sale. I mean, you really put things through the paces, whether it be yourself or some of these folks that you've mentioned that you're working with, man. So it's cool that you're gonna come out with a plastics that's gonna pair up with all your jigs and swim bait heads and things like that. That those two things are going to pair perfectly. Right. Just from knowing you, I know it's going to be the perfect pair up. And, now Jigmasters is going to be a one-stop shop for all those setups, which is sweet. I really like that because, no, I was just going to say, I mean, I don't even know how many different brands and styles of, like craws to match up with my jigs. I mean, usually I resort to that chigger craw, and I know that's a conversation we've had with Cody before, but, it's just, I think it's going to be cool and unique. Just knowing you and how you do things, it's going to be that perfect pairing, which is awesome.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm very excited to, make the lineup a lot more diverse.
I think crawls is one thing I've always struggled with, finding one that I actually really, really, really like. I've always struggled with that, man. I've tried so many of them, and I've never got a consistent bite on any of them, it seems like. But it could be me.
All the stuff I'm trying to do with them is make them dynamic.
Yeah.
So it's a really good jig trailer, but you can also use it for whether you want to pair it with a swim jig or whether you want to, just flip it by itself. And, I'm really trying to make it more of an all-purpose, especially for that one, like an all-purpose crawl.
Yeah.
Because something I basically tested this year, even though I don't have a kayak yet, basically I took a lot of trips with, one box, and said, hey, and that's kind of why, like I said, with that crawl is, that way you don't have to carry 9 different types of soft plastics.
Right.
I mean, carry the one, one or two, obviously for a swim bait profile.
Yeah, that's sweet, man. Are you going to come out, how many colors are you thinking you're going to start with, like on the plastics end?
So it'll be broken up a little bit between, swim bait and, crawl style.
Sure.
But the planned initial launch is kind of going to encompass 6 colors of each.
Yeah.
I'm definitely one of the biggest things I'm making sure is one, there will be a brown.
Yeah.
Because it is impossible to find a brown crawdad.
Yep.
Right.
For, in soft plastics, just shopping on Tackle Warehouse and stuff.
Yeah. Right.
And then 2, I will definitely be doing a June bug.
Okay. Sweet. Nice.
I like June bug.
And, I know you like June bug black.
Yeah.
And, it's one of my favorite colors out there. And there's just not that many options for them. There's some.
Yeah.
But, some definitely going to keep. Obviously, black and blue. You got to have it. A nice dark green pumpkin. I almost call it more like a natural pumpkin when you get those real dark ones, kind of like my jigs.
Sure.
Definitely be that. There's going to be very likely doing like a watermelon candy to pair up with the candy crawl.
You're my long lost brother. I'm going to shed a tear right now.
Well, when I was making the punch rigs, I was really trying to figure out, this is something that not somebody's going to be interested in carrying 10 to 14 colors on.
Sure.
Most people kind of have About, probably 3 to 4.
Yeah.
Most people will kind of carry. So I was going through them, and I literally said, I was like, I gotta have the candy crawl for Brian.
Oh yeah. Woo! I'm excited, man. I am excited. Yeah, that candy crawl, dude. I tell you what. I think it was Josh. Josh was out here, and he's like, "Here, man, take this," and he gave me a candy crawl. And dude, I don't even know how many fish I smacked that weekend with him. And then next thing you know, I ordered like 80 some jigs from you.
Yeah, I remember that order. And it was funny too because the candy crawl kind of had the color lineup for a while.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all that popular. It was probably in the bottom 30%.
Sure.
For jig colors on sales. But then after you caught that, I believe it was a big smallmouth.
Yeah. That was done on Table Rock. Yeah.
People asking about it like crazy, and
nice.
Now
Damn.
my top 3 since that point.
Yeah.
All because of Schiller smacking that big smallie.
Yep.
Dude, that thing was a tank, man. I love that color, dude.
Yeah, it was.
I love that color. Like summer through, the good first chunk of fall. I had success with it. I don't know what it was, man. I love it, dude, because it's kind of got some of that natural color presentation to it, when you're talking about a crayfish in that time of year. And yeah, I had huge success with that color, and I don't even know how many of those I ordered from out of this or whatever.
I'm gonna check those out right now.
Yeah.
It's like 2 black and blue.
June bug is my color of his, dude. I don't know what it is about his June bug, but it works really well for our water around here. Really, really well.
Yeah.
So I love that one. But I want to check out that color because that's not one I ever looked at myself. Dude, I feel like I have every one of your colors, just about. But
that Summer Craw 2.0 too, where it's like green pumpkin and chartreuse. That's that. Yep. That one I love too, man. I think that was the first color I threw. And I had some good success, and then, I got turned on to that candy crawl, and I just haven't looked back. And usually I'm throwing like black, blue, like, spring, early part of summer, and then I kind of transition over into those more natural colors. But, I'll still throw the black, blue on, depending on water conditions and things like that. But yeah, I tell you what, man, that jig did some numbers for me. That color.
What jig style do you like to throw that color with?
The 3/8 light wire.
Light wire, the football head? Yeah.
No, the casting head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was using if I remember the post right, he was using the flipping jig with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, or the flipping jig.
Jig. Yeah, the flipping signature jig. Light wire flipping jig.
Yeah, and I caught that fish. That flipping jig, I don't know, man. I'll cast it out. I'll fish it deep. I love it. I just love how that head stands up, man. I know when that jig is on the bottom, it is standing up, and that's what I love about it. And, I think I caught that fish in like 18, 19 foot of water or something, right off of, the top of a ledge. I was going through, saw a rock pile right on top of this ledge, and I didn't mark a fish, but I'm like, man, there's got to be something down there, because I saw the rock pile on my side scan. And I worked it down there, and I was just getting back to the boat right by the edge of that ledge, man. And as I popped it one last time, I popped, and next thing I know, I had pole on my line, and I set that damn hook. And I knew it was a good fish, but then when I got to the boat, I was like, holy crap, this is like PB Smalley for me, I'm like, oh, you're not getting off. And grabbed my neck, got him in, and I was just like... That fish won me $500. Actually,
dang on.
No, it was $600 because it was $500 for big bass for the day, and $100 for the first hour of the tournament. So
wow,
yeah.
What do you think it is about that color they like so much?
You know what, dude? I think it's natural, but in certain conditions with that purplish flake in it. I think, I don't know what it is. It's not overly flashy. Like, I've had that conversation before with, like Alan Reed, he likes throwing, like a watermelon red flake when it's really sunny out. sometimes me personally, I feel like that's too flashy, whereas that purple kind of, gives it some reflection, but not only that, but it's kind of a color that you see in bluegill, so that's another theory I've had. It's kind of got that bluegill look, so if you're in a fishing a lake where you got a ton of bluegill as a presence for forage, man. So I don't know. I got a couple different theories, but yeah, it was rock solid for me this year.
Yeah, one of my things with when you get into colors like that, like the oaky crawls or the candy crawl,
Yeah,
stuff like that, is what I try to tell people is natural but different.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're not always looking for the biggest, flashy change. Like, oh, I went from black and blue to now I'm throwing all red or something like that.
Right.
So a lot of times it's or like the summer crawl 2.0 or something. It's
that little bit of chartreuse.
Yeah. To where, you figure if you're on a pressured lake and you get to a treetop that just looks obvious to fish, you might be the 5th or 6th jig in there.
Yeah.
But most times, guarantee the first 4 have been black and blue or green pumpkin.
Yeah. Right.
So if you come in there with something that's a bit different from what they normally see, a lot of times you'll pick up bite.
Well, that's the same way too. Like here on my home lake, I fished a shaky head a lot this year too, and going to the color thing, I'd drag a green pumpkin down there, nothing. Switch to that, candy crawl style color, and just fish after fish after fish, putting on a clinic with whoever I'm fishing with, and they're like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I'm like, and I'd be like, "Come over here," and I'd throw them like 4 or 5 worms, and then bam, they're just catching them, and it's cool, man. I love it. So what else we got?
Yeah, there's a great way to lead into another lure. There is the shaky head that I'm working on.
Yeah.
So basically the main goal there is to have a shaky head that has a center pin screw lock, which most use a standard screw lock,
sure,
or some type of barb style. But I really think that you can't go wrong with the center pin screw lock. A lot of those lures are. You don't have a much wiggle room side to side. Based on the diameter of the worm compared to the diameter of the screw.
Right.
So it's nice when you have that center pin to really line you up.
Yeah.
So that's, I think that's kind of a nice benefit there. And then also we're really trying to dial in the shaking of the shaky head. Basically, we're actually trying to create it. Once again, we're trying to get more of almost think of, the rocking chair.
Yeah.
Kind of setup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's kind of taking a ball head, but then basically filing that back down a little bit, and like I said, trying to create like a rocking effect with it.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I mean, this year I was using, I used a lot of owners.
Yep.
Shaky heads, and dude, I tell you what, man, I love those. I went through so many different styles of shaky head, so I'm super interested in that one when you release it, because I tell you what, man, I know you're going to use an owner hook, and stand up.
Yeah, that's actually basically the one that kind of led me to get into shaky heads. Is that owner one? Is
okay.
I got a buddy here who fishes the exact opposite of me. He's finesse only.
Sure.
We go battle it out between, heavy duty and light duty and see who wins.
Yeah.
But he said the same thing you did. He said, I've tried a bunch of different shaky heads, and he said, I know they're expensive compared to a lot you can buy. He said, but he said that owner shaky head, or I can't remember exactly what the name is on it, but he said that thing is light years ahead of the others on the market.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, and it's the same thing that you were talking about. It's got the center pin screw. Yeah, I'm interested, man. I can't wait to see what you come out with there. So it'll be interesting for sure.
I'll move that one up in priority for you.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can throw that in with the other, $1,000 worth of baits I order.
Right. Yeah, so the people
Cody's going to go to bed and wake up in the morning and look at his phone and be like, holy crap, those guys weren't kidding. They placed some very large orders.
I tell you, man, that was That was Black Friday and Cyber Monday in a nutshell. What you just said.
Oh
there,
yeah,
man.
I bet, man, I bet.
So I was kind of, it's kind of a funny story. I was looking at, this year's sales versus last year's, and kind of trying to do some, data interpolation per se.
Sure.
And I was like, you should probably prepare for about 2 to 2.5. I'll go 2.5 times the sales of last Black Friday through
Sure.
Cyber Monday, which was, if you look at all the numbers, made complete sense. And, and I'll thank all the customers both on here or people that aren't listening, even though they're not going to hear it, it ended up being about 12 times the sales from the previous.
That's awesome, dude. Wow. That is awesome.
It's a great problem to have.
Yeah, no, for sure, man.
Caffeine became my buddy during that period for sure.
Nice. Well, and that's the thing too, man. Like, I know when you had sent us, what the sale was going to be, I think Ricketts was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, right. Jigs are $250 or whatever. And I was like, hey, man, this is what Cody sent me. I hope this isn't a typo, like,
yeah.
And,
time to try to
out of that, dude. I knew that was going to blow up.
Yeah.
Even I posted on my Facebook page. I'm like, $2.50 Jigmaster Jigs. I'm like, what?
Yeah. 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 Yeah, that was
killer. No, I appreciate it. And a lot of times I try to take advantage of these sales to drive in a lot of new customers.
Sure.
And I get it. A lot of people, they've been burnt before. They see something cool on, whether it's online somewhere, and I'll buy 10. They buy and they come, and it ends up being junk or
sure
not what you really thought and all that stuff. So you're kind of hesitant to spend a decent amount of money,
right?
Especially if you already have something in your arsenal that you feel comfortable with. So I try to take advantage of those and try to figure out very, very good pricing on it. But be obviously I still got to make money too.
Yeah.
But to get good pricing on it, people are like, hey man, that jig's only $250. I'll give it a whirl.
Yeah. Right.
And it seems so far I have a very good return customer rate.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I know. I think this was a little while ago. We had somebody post on one of our posts that they had ordered like 2 or 3 jigs, and then they got them and they were like, yeah, I'm gonna order some more. These things are awesome. And I totally get that, man. I mean, new customers getting them in. Giving them a great deal, and then when they actually see the product, that's the thing. I think for me personally, it's not just the jig, it's the packaging, it's the thought in it, the way it performs, everything like that. I mean, so it's like, I know we're talking a lot about a lot of new baits, and that's why I'm so excited about this, because I know just from talking to you and the thought process you put into all this stuff, man, like, I know everything on this list that we just went over tonight is just going to be absolutely stellar. So it's going to be cool, man. And not only that, but like your pricing, I think even your standard pricing is perfect. I mean, it's not too expensive. It's not the cheapest, but you're right there in the middle, man. But for what you get for the money you're putting in, like, I don't know, man. There's something to be said about that right there.
Yeah, I appreciate that for sure. And, something I try to get people to understand is being the best bang for your buck kind of thing. That's important.
Right.
And obviously I try to take, obviously, the financials account, but I also try to take in, when I say I want to be the best bang for the buck, I really want to try to be the top level flipping jig or the top level spinnerbait when they come out.
Heck yeah.
All these different things. But what people often don't realize is that the pricing's the same no matter what that lead shape is.
Yeah.
For me to make.
Right.
It's when it comes to that now, I mean, obviously the design work, there's a lot of work there, stuff like that. But as far as the physical components that are there, it's the same stuff.
Right.
And, so when you see some of those baits reach way out into the, hey, it's a flipping jig, but we're going to charge, would be the extreme case, we're going to charge $8 or something like that. It's kind of like, well,
what are you doing to constitute that price? You
Right.
know, and that's just not my business model.
Sure.
Mhm.
Sure.
You have 14 colors available right now in your jigs, and I can comfortably say that I own 10 out of the 14. But soon I'm going to own that candy crawl.
Yeah, I'll say 11 when you get.
Yeah. But also I own 2 secret colors that nobody even has but me. So what do you think about that, Brian?
That's all right.
I got
plenty.
16 colors. I got 12.
I got plenty of the one color that I'll smash fish on that you don't have. So
That's the old Bruce Lee saying. Don't worry about the guy that's practiced 10,000 kicks. Worry about the guy that's practiced
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
There can be a lot to be said for that, for sure.
Oh
yeah.
God, yeah, absolutely. I'll say it once. I'll say it 1,000 times. Brian's a stick. He's a better stick than I am. I got no
stop.
problem saying that.
Stop.
He's a good angler, man. He is a good angler. So he would smoke me on the water. But you know, I'm able to grow a beard and he can't.
Yeah,
So
this is true. This is true. Touche, my friend. Touche. Yeah, I feel like the little kid over here with you two. You know, you guys got full beards, and I'm like, you know, got a little scruff going on. I look like a schmo. You know.
yeah, that's funny.
But
Dude, every time I speak with you on here, man, I get excited to get back on the water. Just all your new products and stuff just kind of get me pumped up, man.
yeah.
Now I'm thinking it's raining outside. Okay, sometime this weekend. Actually, I spoke to Eldridge, and I think he and I are going to hook up Sunday morning and do some bank fishing
Nice.
or some
Oh, yeah.
wade fishing or some smallmouths. Yeah, so we're going to take out our jigs and go out there and see what we can't do. We're going to try to get some saw guy and stuff too. So yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
I'm
I
jealous.
tell you what, winter's not a bad time to catch some fat ones. You know,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
definitely a different style of fishing, than the other months, but you can definitely still catch some solid ones.
Yeah.
I think you have no patience to fish through the summer. That if you fish in the winter, you're going to learn patience, and you're going to learn what it means to finesse, and you're going to learn what it takes to really take your time, and you also can learn how to really work your baits, because it's not this wild, erratic pop, shot, rip, run, fast, slow. I mean, you really have to be on your game sometimes in the winter.
Yeah.
Buddy up here who's a really, really good jerkbait fisherman.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously, this time of year, he loves it.
Yeah.
And stuff, and he has patience like no other. And I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm a trolling motor on high. I want to buzz down the bank, flip every piece of cover I can get to, or buzz a spinnerbait bite or whatever. But he's I think he was throwing the shadow wrap, we're calling it shadow wrap, and he chucks it, and he does like 2 quick pulls, and then like he literally set the rod down.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
what are you doing? He's like, well, it's nap time.
Yeah.
I said, what? And I would swear he let that bait just sit there for about a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Went back, picked up the rod, toom, toom, with 2 big pulls again, set it back down. And I tell you, he caught some hell of fish for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's a whole new breed of patience there.
Yeah. I mean, especially this time of year, man. I mean, that's some of the stuff that I've read and seen. It's like you could literally let that jerkbait sit there for minutes before you torch it again. I ain't got time for that.
Yeah. Well, I asked him, I said,
Ain't nobody
"Why do
got
you
time for that."
And
Yeah.
he said, because I know if it's in my hand, I'm going to want to twitch it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fair argument. I know I would. So.
Yeah.
So, have you ever thought about making your own blade bait?
Yeah, so that is actually something not going to be launched first quarter, but we are talking a blade bait in the Woodward series.
Nice.
And there's kind of we're trying to make a very, a lot different than a lot that's on the market, but obviously designing with a purpose. There's still a decent amount of work that has to be done with that, but that is actually something we're going to be doing as well.
Nice.
Yeah. I heard blade baits. It's something I'm brand new to, but there's a guy here locally who makes them. here in Cincinnati. He makes his own blade baits, and they're really popular. But I guess that's another one that just crushes fish in the wintertime. It's a blade bait.
Yeah.
Reeling it, letting it fall, and pop, letting it fall, wham. So.
Yeah, the only issue with those is when you're in the Great Lakes, sheephead love them too.
Yeah. Good old rubber lips. I love it.
I fished a tournament with my dad, and he used to be a big smallmouth fisherman. We fished just the BGSU college fundraiser tournament out there. But I'm throwing a pivot head and stuff, and he's throwing a blade bait. First fish he catches, it's like 5.5 pound smallmouth.
Nice.
We're punch, whatever.
Holy crap.
And he threw that blade bait the rest of the day, and I was actually keeping track. And he caught, I believe, pulling off the top of my head, it was somewhere around 80 sheephead.
Oh my
For
gosh.
the rest of the tournament. Never got touched again by a smallmouth.
Oh,
I just
that's
had to
hilarious.
catch that big one. First one to make him throw it the whole time.
Yeah, that'll make your heart pump a little bit. Big old sheephead smacking a blade bait on some light gear. I dig it.
Yeah, that's the downside too. Is you're typically throwing them with light tackle, so you can't even force them back. Each one's a 10-minute punch.
Yeah, at least Pop's got some action that day,
Yeah, he is a good for the sheephead for sure.
Yeah,
they're attracted to him. So.
Very cool.
That's hilarious.
Very cool. Well, I think we're winding down here, my man. Anything else you want to talk about? Go over anything like that, man?
Yeah, just before people freak out and think that I'm not going to be carrying apparel because I'm having this closeout sale.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, it's to make room for a whole new lineup.
Nice. Okay.
I'm doing a decent amount of work with that and trying to finalize some details there. But pretty excited. Going to try to, once again, still give people kind of their best bang for their buck. Have a little bit more on the performance apparel side, performance hoodies, quarter zips, a bunch of stuff like that.
Nice.
Some better hats out there and stuff as well. So, there's definitely a new apparel line coming, and this is just to make room for it. So,
very cool, man. I'm excited to see that too. That'll be awesome, man. Heck yeah.
I'm going to order that Plano box that Hicks posted up on his Facebook page today. Did you see that? Did you guys see that?
The Edge box.
Yeah, I didn't. I got mad at it. I've been talking myself in and out of trying to, should I spend the money and buy that box or not? I finally got to myself where I agreed the answer was no. And then he posted that, and I obviously had, a bunch of the Jigmasters jigs in there. I said, oh man, they look too perfect.
Yeah, I'm actually, before we got on here, that's what I was going to do. I was going to place an order for that just because they fit perfect in there. And I'm like, I have so many of your jigs, literally probably 30 or more, and I'm like, that's a perfect organization right there. So, last year I ordered a lot. This year I've already planned on placing an order because I gave some out to some buddies and lost a few, because they're eye catchers. The new colors that you made for me, I sold a kayak to a guy, man, and he's like, it was showing him. We were just talking fishing. We were showing what we fish with and stuff, and I gave him a couple of those new colors. Hey, man, try these out. Let me know, so yeah, man, I'm gonna rack up some more this year. Get them all stored up pretty. Yeah, look at that. Look at that storage. Oh, that's nice.
The Plano factory.
And then the downside is you got to have matching boxes. Then you're gonna buy all the other ones, and you've about spent $1,000.
Yeah.
The Plano factory is about 45 minutes to an hour from me, so.
Oh man, I'd be there all the time.
They got the outlet store there, so I get stuff for cheap.
Oh, I get the hookup.
I'll let you know when I'm there, boys.
Yeah,
let me know for sure, man.
Yeah, no, it's funny actually. Ricketts, you'd get a kick out of this. I was there last winter. Me and Randall usually go there in the winter when we got nothing else to do. And we were in there, and they had a bunch of those Jackson 7300 boxes in the outlet store. Like a whole pallet of them just stacked up. And Jay's like, yeah, I could use a couple of these. They were like $2 a piece.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jackson. But, yeah. But yeah, that place is cool, man. If you're ever in Illinois, that's definitely a place you got to hit up. But yeah, I'm interested to see if they got some of those boxes in there, because usually some of that stuff in the outlet stores got like blems and stuff. But you know, it's like cosmetic stuff. It's not like
Right.
you know, anything bad.
Functional, just
Yeah. So very cool, man. Well, Cody, thank you again so much, man. Guys, gals listening, take advantage of that apparel sale Cody's got going on. Is that going through the end of the year?
Basically, it's going till they're gone.
Okay. So as sizes run out, you know, you're gonna be kind of stuck with a limited variety. So take advantage of the apparel sale. Go check out the new baits that already released. Use promo code PNF20, and then between, you know, basically now and the end of March, you know, you got all that stuff we talked about to look forward to coming out. So,
big lineup.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Super stoked. Thanks again for your time and jumping on with us. We much appreciate it. Thank you for all the support with the show. And
yeah, absolutely.
With all that being...
big thanks to you guys, and thanks to all the listeners as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
man.
To our listeners too, man. Merry Christmas. This is the last episode of the OG show for the year, man.
Totally forgot. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, so, you know, this week, guys, gals, we got our normal lineup of shows, and we will be taking a break for the rest of the year. So the 20th will be the last show aired. Actually, I think we're going to have one special episode that's going to air on Christmas. And then our first show back will be January 6th. So look forward to that, guys. I know a lot of people are excited because they're going to be able to go back and catch up with all of the great content we put out. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So going into the new year, we'll have a lot of exciting things coming up and happening. So yeah, absolutely. Merry Christmas to all you listeners out there. Thank you for everything. And we're looking forward to 2020 with you guys. So with that being said, guys, tight lines, smooth paddle.
This segment is brought to you by Jigmasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to JigMasters.com and use promo code PNF20 and save 20% off your next jig order today. Do you love our podcast and want to help support us even more? Well, now you can. You can simply go to patreon.com/paddle, the letter N, Fin. Or you can also go to anchor.fm/paddle, the letter N, Fin. Do you love our podcast and want to help support us even more? Well, now you can. You can simply go to patreon.com/paddle, the letter N, Fin. Or you can also go to anchor.fm/paddle, the letter N, Fin.
Go check out the website, guys, paddle, the letter N, and fin.com. Also check out YouTube. youtube.com/paddle and fin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest, feel free to email us at paddle, the letter N, and fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We're doing giveaways, announcements, things like that at Facebook and Instagram at paddle and fin. Shout out to our show supporters, Rocktown Adventures, Loveland Canoe and Kayak, Hammered Lures, Fish Mob Lures, TRC Covers, Ketch Products. Go to ketchproducts.com. You can put the paddle and fin logo right on your catch board. Don't forget to go over and pick up your Jigmasters Jigs. Use promo code PNF20 and save 20% today. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to. It helps grow the audience, helps others find our podcast. So please drop a 5-star rating in on the podcast platform you're listening on. Don't forget about the recycled plastics program, you guys. Take your used plastic baits, put them in an envelope, mail them to the address in the show notes. Our man Eric Richards at Hammered Lures melts those down, makes new baits, and donates them to various chapters of Heroes on the Water.
This is Bucky Buckstabber, founder and executive director of the Fly Fishing Collaborative. At the Fly Fishing Collaborative, also known as FFC, we mobilize the fly fishing community, outdoor enthusiasts, and people of goodwill everywhere to create sustainable solutions to poverty and human trafficking. We have many different initiatives to accomplish this goal, but our primary focus is building organic and environmentally friendly aquaponics farms for communities suffering from trafficking because of a lack of resource. If you're interested in funneling your passion for the outdoors to benefit those that need help the most, then visit flyfishingcollaborative.org.
Josiah Pleasant, Executive Director of Agathos Village here to specifically invite you to positively impact the vulnerable in Juneau, Alaska, in partnership with FFC. Bucky and I have been blessed to be a part of Transformational Impact Abroad and are stoked to bring our lessons learned home to serve the marginalized. If it breaks your heart to know that the vulnerable are literally left out in the cold, don't have community, a home, or healthy food, join us to make a tangible impact by donating or making plans to volunteer with us. You can donate at www.flyfishingcollaborative.org and write Alaska in the notes to help us help others.